Justin, after the game Saturday, you seemed about a little confused as we were about why the offense was so good in the first quarter and then wasn't as good after that. You're looking at the tape, and you come to any conclusions?
Yeah, it was the number of missed opportunities. I think that could be said for every unit throughout the game. Offensively, we started very efficiently in the first quarter with two really strong drives resulting in touchdowns. And then really for the second and third quarters, we didn't get much rhythm at all. In the second quarter, I think we only ran 9 plays on offense. And there were chances to convert and get first downs. We weren't able to do that, unfortunately, and then that kind of bled into the third quarter. And then the fourth, we moved it a little bit more, but ultimately we got to put the ball in the end zone, and we had plenty of chances and some plays that we would expect to make, and we didn't make those. So we as coaches have to make sure we're giving them every opportunity and putting them in a position to have success out there, and then the players got to go out and execute.
And coaches talk about quarterbacks having command on the field, and you've got a quarterback who's a 3-year starter. How would you evaluate how he played, and what did you think about how he looked like he was in charge or not so much?
I think Chase had some good moments. I think there's some plays that he would probably like to have back, and we're going to continue to work with him. Bill, with the being his position coach and his coordinator, will continue to work with him on things that he can improve upon, and we'll also try to do things that Chase does well within our game plan. So continue to push him just like every other player on the team.
Did he have opportunities downfield that he didn't take, or did you guys just not execute those?
I think there was a couple chances for us to make some plays down the field. We went back and watched the video, and again, those are learning opportunities, but we also have to take the next step and take advantage of those, because we had the opportunities during the game, whether it's quarterback, receiver, run game, or on defense, getting off the field by knocking a ball down on a third down, or on in the special teams by punting and covering better and converting a field goal. So everybody has chances to make some more plays, and plays that we would expect to make. So whether it's quarterback position, defense, or special teams, that'll be our focus this week.
Obviously, you don't want to get too risky throwing the ball down the field, throwing into tight coverage, but what's the line between throwing a receiver open and trusting them to make a play versus getting careless?
Yeah, I mean, there's everybody you play in college football, the defenses don't routinely bust and leave people wide open. So we have to be in rhythm and have confidence in our training and trust our training and throw the ball on time where it's supposed to go, and then the receivers have to run the correct route at the correct depth and go make the play, whether it's receiver, tight end, running back, whoever that is. So I think it's all part of it. The O-line's part of it, and but to answer your question, yeah, it's not routine that defenses just bust and leave people wide open all over the field. It's everybody has good coaches and good players, and so we got to do a good job of preparing for those opportunities, and when they're there, we got to take advantage of them.
Outside of executing better, did you see some things that you really want to see the offense do better next time?
Well, I think it's staying on the field, converting on third downs. We got one of the drive, maybe the first one in the second quarter, we had a penalty on a shorter down and distance, and then we had a penalty followed by a sack. But there was a number of opportunities to convert, and that's where I think Trace asked after the game, getting back to the run game. Well, we only ran 9 plays in the second quarter. We didn't really run many plays at all, whether it's run or pass. So I think converting on third downs, creating some explosive plays. We all know that we need to create more explosive plays, and so we as coaches got to do a great job. And then when there are opportunities there for explosive plays, we got to take advantage of them. And that's how the offense can perform better.
Moving on to TCU, what stands out about what they did last week and what you've seen on film?
Yeah. What we've, I think, come to know TCU as. I mean, they're athletic across the board. You look on offense with their backs, the receivers, the quarterback, his athleticism. They run a spread offense. They're very, very efficient. Quarterback's a very good player. Defensively, very aggressive. It's, Coach Patterson known for 4-2-5 nickel, a lot of quarters. The corners play a ton of man-to-man and challenge you. The safeties are involved, really tight coverage and in the run game, and then they're good up front. I mean, it's a very talented team. They're very good in special teams. They've created returns on most people they play, so we'll have to do a great job on special teams as well. But they're a very good football team.
Well, you faced a lot of too high safeties last week. Do you feel like you have a better read on how to play against that as an offense? Or?
Yeah, well, I mean, in our schedule, you're going to see teams that play single high. You're going to see teams that play too high. When you talk too high, sometimes it's Tampa 2, sometimes it's quarter, half, sometimes it's quarters across the board. So there's different forms of too high safeties. So the too high safeties we saw last week's a little different than the too high safeties we would expect to see this week. There's, as we prepare throughout the offseason and even in camp, I mean, that's what we do every day. We go against our defense, which runs both single high and split safety defenses. So we feel good about our plan going in. And as we know, there's adjustments that need to be made during the game. And our coaches, on the offense and defensive side are very, very good with that. And we'll expect to have a good plan going in and make whatever adjustments needed during the game.
Justin, when you're playing a team that won so easily last week against a pretty overmatched opponent, they actually played with, as you know, probably 12-minute quarters in the second half. Do you wonder, they probably didn't show us everything, and are we going to see some wrinkles that they didn't have to use in their first game?
Yeah, but I would say that's probably true each and every week. There's Coach Patterson and their staff, they're good coaches, and there's going to be wrinkles. They're going to watch our game, and whether it's deceptive or maybe it's a scheme that they didn't run as much last week, but maybe this week they like a little bit more. So we do self-scout as well, trying to prepare for those things. In the end, I would anticipate them leaning on what they do well. I would not that they're going to totally change in 1 week. We wouldn't anticipate that, just like we would. But I'm sure each and every week that we line up this season, there's going to be wrinkles from the team we're playing.
Does it help that he's been their coach 20 years and you've actually played them? And so, I mean, it's not like, he's kind of got a way he does things, probably, right?
Yeah, I think so. Just like we all do. I mean, we all have a fingerprint in terms of our style of play and maybe packages on offense and defense. We're going to see 11 personnel. We'll see some 12, but we're going to see a lot of 11 from them. They're going to run 4-2-5 nickel. I don't think. Again, during a given week, I don't see people changing significantly from 1 week to the next. I don't know that anybody has a ton of success doing that, but they'll have game plan specific things that they do for us, just like we would do for them. And he has a strong history of what they've done, and they've done it very well. Ultimately, it comes down about executing the plays, either side of the ball.
Looking at the film, what do you look to improve on in special teams and in each of the units?
Yeah, punt unit, we've got to be better. We've got to punt the ball better. We've got to cover it. We can't give up chunk returns like that. Our kickoff team was improved. We'd like to get the ball into the end zone a little bit more. And I thought in the return games, we had a couple good returns. We also left some yards out there in the return game. And so plenty to clean up. Obviously, we have PATs and field goals. We need to execute those and put them through the uprights. So there's a lot to improve upon in special teams as well.
With the punting, it looked like Sheehan was under pressure a decent amount, at least on the last couple of kicks. Were there blocking issues there too?
No, the pressure issues really probably came a little bit earlier. And there are times when, based on how we're covering or how we're protecting, we will get the ball off quicker, and other times that we might not. But we got to understand what the rush team is doing. If they're rushing or are they dropping out, so we can get a good punt off. I mean, he's very capable. We've practiced all spring and fall with Jam, and I think he'll have a much better week this week.
Do you have any sense yet of whether Chris Brooks will be available to play?
We anticipate him being ready. So, there's really nothing more to report there.
Can you talk about how your running backs played when you did run the ball?
Yeah, I thought Damian Moore had some nice runs, things that he's shown during camp. It was nice to see Carlos in there make a couple good runs. DeCarlos got into the second level and showed some of his speed, I thought. Dancy had a couple of good runs in there, and Chris, when he was healthy, was in there, made a couple really nice runs as well. So we want to be able to lean on that group and running the football and helping our offense produce first downs and points.
Would you like to be more stubborn about the run?
Well, again, I think we want to run the football. We also have to run enough plays to run the football. And so I think where last week, the rhythm got thrown is, the second quarter and really a good amount of the third was not having enough plays to get the rhythm going. You have to convert, either not get into a third down, so we get a first and second down off of a first or second down, and then not have to, be in third and long. So we have to convert, keep those drives going so we can run the football more.
You held a team that's got a lot of offensive weapons to 2 touchdowns. But were there some things in your secondary that you had concerns with?
Yeah, the deep balls. There were 3 explosive passes, I think 43, 43, and 46. One of them was really poor eye control on the touchdown. And then the other 2, we got beat over the top, one-on-one. And we got to rely on our technique, trust our training there. And I think those guys can make those plays. The quarterback made a couple of very good throws, no doubt about that. But I think, the 3 explosive passes we would feel a lot differently if we would have defended, 1 or 2 of those even better coming out of the game.
So you guys played TCU 2.5, 3 years ago. What are some of the big differences you've seen from them? I mean, personnel is obviously going to be different, but are they mostly similar to what they did then?
Yeah, again, Coach Patterson ran 4-2-5 nickel quarters for a long time. They're very good at it. They have each and every season, like any team, will have some different strengths and weaknesses, and they'll, might change. Maybe they'll have a different style of blitz, or maybe a certain coverage they like a little bit more because of their personnel. But structurally, it looks very similar.